Good morning and great to have your company again at Coffee O'Clock. Adam Peacock here for the Socceroos alongside former Socceroos Mark Bosnich and Robbie Slater as this World Cup qualification campaign continues in Kuwait. Hello, boys.
Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Robert. How are you? I like that Coffee O'Clock. That was excellent.
Coffee O'Clock, yes, and Noodle O'Clock over there.
Noodle O'Clock, yeah, no coffees.
Waking up. And the Socceroos got off to the best possible start. I was really impressed the other morning. I don't know how you look at it on reflection, the Kuwait match.
No, you're 100% right, Adam. You know, they did everything that was asked of them. And like a lot of people, I told you would say, and I've had that consequently straight afterwards, they're only playing against Kuwait. But like I said to everyone, and like I said on air the other night, you can only beat who's in front of you. But I thought that the speed they played, this young boy here, Hristic, was absolutely outstanding. And the speed that they played at was excellent, considering it was very, very heat, 39 degrees Celsius. We said how hot it was. And they've only been together for a very, very short period. And the fact that they haven't been together before that, I said that you have to say is a tribute to the boys and to the coaching staff that they got them to play in that type of way.
We'll get your weather update in a moment. The conditions over there in Kuwait. But Robbie, your reflections of the other night against
very good. As I said the other morning, is the score didn't reflect the total dominance of the Australian side, and to be expected, yes. But after 567 days, that's how long they hadn't been together. So. And a team that had never played together, I thought it was a very, very good performance with, rightfully mentioned, Hristic with an outstanding display, but every player certainly did no harm to their own chances of going forward into whatever may be the second stage.
Yeah, this is the Group B standings at this stage, the first stage for Australia. And we need one more win and we're through. And we're playing Chinese Taipei, who amongst all the 8 groups that are trying to qualify for the next stage in the AFC Confederation, they have got the second worst for and against Chinese Taipei. Their goal differential is -25. Cambodia has got the worst for.
Well, it's about to get a lot worse this evening.
You would imagine so.
Yes.
You would imagine so. Boz, just a quick update on the weather. Did you check it?
Yeah, 38 degrees Celsius.
The Arctic blast is coming. When's that coming, Boz?
Exactly.
The wind's from the north at 31 kilometres per hour.
What's the humidity? About 130%.
Up
there.
Yeah.
It's not on your app. You'll figure it out in a sec. Let's have a look at the team that Graham Arnold has chosen for this game, and he's made 11 changes to the starting 11 that defeated Kuwait a couple of nights ago. And Danny Vukovic will start in goal, still without a club. Big mail that he's going to head to Holland to continue his club career. Ryan Grant in at right back. Trent Sainsbury will captain the side at centre-back alongside Harry Suter, the towering central defender who had a good season with Stoke. He played 43 games in all competitions for Stoke, and he's going to try and keep up his goal-scoring record of 4 goals in 2 games so far. Curtis Good, his first cap since his loan cap against Ecuador in 2013. Denny Jonro becomes the 610th Socceroo, so congratulations to Denny, who'll partner Kenny Dougal in the centre of the park, who made his debut the other morning. Riley McGree gets his second cap. Brandon Borello, who plays his football in Germany. He played about half the games for Fortuna Düsseldorf this season. And up front, it's Jamie McLaren and Mitch Duke, all A-League strike force. Robbie Slater, your thoughts on that 11?
Yeah, look, it's an 11 that he makes all the changes to the team, which is understandable. All the players are going to get games. It's good to see the A-League players getting games. And the Curtis Good story is a great story, isn't it? He would have thought that his Socceroo chances were probably long gone, but when you think of what he went through in respect to injuries and everything, it's a remarkable story. And looking forward to seeing Mitch Duke, Jamie McLaren. Can he get? We know how his goal-scoring form has been, but it looks a well-balanced side, plenty of experience with Sainsbury at the back as well. Suter with that remarkable goal-scoring record is a bit better than ours, Boz, but. You've got an excuse, you're a goalkeeper.
1 goal apiece for the Socceroos. You two. Curtis Good, he'll play at left-back, Bozza, because Brad Smith, he's going to be sent back to his club Seattle because he's got a problem with his groin. So Curtis, he'll take any cap he can get, really. He's been so good for Melbourne City in the centre, but we'll see how he goes at left-back tonight.
Yeah, we will. And don't be surprised if, depending how the game goes, that he comes in you know, and they form three at the back because they're attacking with so many players. But he's been absolutely outstanding for Melbourne City. That spine of theirs is, well, their whole team, the whole story of Melbourne City has been fantastic. Another one's playing up front in Jamie McLaren. The other one was Connor Metcalf. But in terms of Curtis Good, left-sided central defenders that can play at fullback are in rare supply. And I'm really excited by the team. You know, we've seen so many young players play so well in the A-League this season. So many young players coming through. And what a lot of people got to realise as well is that a lot of these young players have grown up, unlike in the past, with full-time football. And that makes an absolutely huge difference. So I think the future is really bright.
Denny Jonro gets a start, Robbie, for the uninitiated, the ones that haven't seen a lot of MacArthur in the A-League this season. Why do you think that is, that he's now a Socceroo?
Well, because he's had an outstanding year as well. You talked about Curtis Good, but Denny Jonro, MacArthur was certainly not happy to lose him to the Socceroos. He's been a key to their side, and under Milicic, he's definitely grown as a player. And not only, as we've seen with a lot of these younger players, a little bit like Metcalf at Melbourne City, is that not only are they playing, but they're starring in their teams, and that's because they've been getting games, and not just one game or half a game. They're in the team and they're staying in the team.
And Connor Metcalf, there is mail that Connor Metcalf and also Ruan Tonic will appear at some stage for the Socceroos, provided things go to plan. As for Chinese Taipei, poor old Chinese Taipei, the whipping boys of this particular group, they got beaten by Nepal when Australia played Kuwait the same match day. Early penalty they conceded late on. They can't take a trick at the moment. Their manager Henry Vom has made just the one change to the starting lineup, so his players have obviously recovered okay. They had a few issues before. That's like not everyone made themselves available for this one. The one change to the starting lineup, they brought in a gentleman by the name of Emilio Estevez.
Oh yeah, Charlie Singh's brother.
Emilio Estevez. He's a young midfielder. Yeah. Obviously the family are movie fans.
No, look, listen, and this goes for all these teams that are struggling, and wherever they may be around the world. I can remember a time in Europe when some of the smaller European teams were really struggling. But if you look at them now, the gap's closed completely, and that's what they've got to think about doing. Hopefully, one day, you know, there's 209 nations that play football around the world, that the competition will be as close as it possibly can, and it's a long process. And it can be a very painful process, but it's exactly what they've got to go through, because that's got to be the ultimate aim of world football.
They've only scored 2 goals this campaign, Robbie, and one of them was against the Socceroos actually on this night back in October 2019. But how about this for a story as well, Rob? About their 34-year-old player, Yoshitaka Komori, Japanese name, Japanese heritage, obviously. He actually owns a club in the Chinese Taipei League. And he's playing, he's starting, he's got his second cap because he's naturalised and he's finally got the passport and everything. His family have owned a rice cracker business in Chinese Taipei for a very long time. It's an incredible story. Imagine a club owner rocking up and saying, yeah, I'm playing for the national.
I'm ready to go, but yeah, it's, you know, there's stories within this team, obviously, but, you know, you call them the whipping boys of the group, and they are, but this is an opportunity for them, and every time they play against these bigger nations like Australia and a little bit less so Nepal, it's a chance for them to learn and grow and see where they need to be. Now, obviously, they're not there yet, but as time goes by, that's their ultimate goal.
We're off to a quick break here at the Socceroos preview. Kick-off not too far away against Chinese Taipei. We'll be back to speak about some of the potential Socceroos stars this morning. Good morning. Where you're waking up all around Australia, the Socceroos are on their way. Riley McGree and the Socceroos warming up in Kuwait. There's concerns over the pitch at the Jabal Al Ahmad International Stadium, how it's going to hold up. There's a heavy schedule of games, but hopefully it's okay and the Socceroos can get their passing game going. This morning they're taking on Chinese Taipei, a win, and it locks down the spot for the next round of qualifiers, and we'll start to worry when they come around, guys, or if there is worry to be had about playing where they're going to be played.
Well, there will be worry to be had.
Yes.
There is no doubt.
Because
we won't be playing here. We'll be playing.
So the reports
over there
in the newspaper are basically on the weekend inaccurate?
Well, from what I've heard and what I know is that they've already met with the government, and the answer is no.
So no home games? So
No home games.
Okay.
Not possible.
That's what I'm
September.
Do you want to confirm it another time?
I'm just asking.
No, but therein lies one of the problems.
Talking point.
But without, and I spoke about this the other morning, this phase of qualifying, we're going to qualify, and it'll be confirmed this morning, is about preparation and getting ready for what's coming in September, which looms as very, very, very difficult. And that would have been, even if we had home games where we know we are so strong and have a fantastic record in World Cup qualifying at home. But when you're talking about a hub in the Middle East, playing in their conditions on their home turf, these sorts of games. So forget about the international calendar. These will all be played in September to get ready for the World Cup in Qatar in 2022.
Oh, well, we'll wait and see what happens there. What we do know is that the Australians are playing Chinese Taipei in a matter of minutes in Kuwait in this game to pretty much lock down all certainty of progressing out of the group. Jamie McLaren starts up front. Boz,
Excellent, yep.
Career best form at the moment for Jamie?
I think so. He's got such a comfortability about him, knowing exactly where to run, at what times, and that comes with a lot of experience. And a lot of people call it intuition, but intuition comes from experience and expertise. And he's also reaped the advantage of playing in an absolutely wonderful team. There's no doubt about that, with some really great players. So it'd be great to watch him tonight. Like I said, the other night I was a little bit surprised he didn't start. I thought he would have got a hatful, but I guess he can get that tonight.
Well, yeah, he got there late, so that's why he and Mitchell Duke, who came off the bench. Robbie, Mitchell is in there. What are you smoking at?
Comfortability.
Comfortability. Well, we're all got a level of comfortability this morning. And Mitchell, certainly at Bankwest Stadium, he's got a level of that. But on the international stage, see if he can get on the scorer sheet.
Yeah, well, he's been one of the bright spots for the Wanderers this season, another season where they did not make the six. So it's an opportunity for him. It doesn't matter who you're playing. Once you get on the shirt and you get a chance, you've got to take it. And it's not only about scoring goals; it's your all-round play. And that's what that's what Graham Arnold will be looking at in respect to what lies ahead for the Socceroos.
So Harry Suter, you'll spot him out there.
You can't miss him.
Because his head will be able to see out the stadium, basically, because he's that tall. He's a fascinating story. He's born in Scotland. It's an Australian mum, Heather, and apparently the story goes that Adam Federici was the one to let the FA know that this guy is actually eligible.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's become, and this is no disrespect to Harry Suter or some of the other players we're choosing at the moment, is that because of our lack of youth development in the last decade plus, we are now searching overseas for ancient relatives to play for the Socceroos.
Sorry, not the first team
ancient relatives is probably a bit harsh, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is because of what we've done to the youth in this country over such a long period now, is that we have been forced to go, to the UK or to wherever it may be and look for players with Australian heritage. And that we never did in the past.
No, but it's not the first country that's done that. So you've got to make do.
You do. And that's what they're doing with Harry Suter. Riley McGree, playing his football this season at Birmingham City. Be interesting to see where he plays next season. Probably Birmingham again, the place of the world that you know very well.
Yes, very well.
Favourite club of yours, Birmingham City, in your Aston Villa days. But yeah, he's...
And of course, a famous Socceroo played very well for Birmingham City, Stan Lazaridis.
Yeah,
Stan, man. Right. But yeah, Riley, it's good to see him involved in a setup like this because we know he's got the talent on the basis of what we've seen with Adelaide and Newcastle.
On the basis of what we just see here, once again, to be reminded, there's no doubt about that. And really, for me, it's a good place for him to be playing his trade. An excellent player, one for the future to look out for. And that's why I think I'm excited about the future. And I know we've had to adapt what Robbie said about in terms of scouting around the world for people with parentage of Australian lineage. Yeah. But if you look at the likes of Riley McGree, Denny Jean-Rowe, or the ones we've spoken about before, Ryan Grant at right back, Metcalf. For me, the future is really bright.
But that's because of this season. That's because of COVID.
Yeah, and that's and like I said, it just encapsulates for me what holds the future for the football in this country.
Kenny Dougal, we touched on him a little bit the other morning. He didn't start. He came off the bench and got a cap, and it's off the basis of what he did for Blackpool in this promotion playoff out of League One for Blackpool. But neat and tidy midfielder. He looks to keep things ticking along in the middle of the park.
Well, to be honest, I haven't seen him. All I can see is what the images we're seeing there. Obviously, he's been scouted by Graham Arnold, and they know a lot more about. Kenny Dougal is not in the team because he scored 2 goals, which is a fantastic effort to get Blackpool into the championship, but over a length of a period where they would have been looking at him playing in his game. So make no mistake that if he's there, he deserves to be there.
It was his first season at Blackpool as well. Become a club legend immediately. Not bad. We're off to a quick break. More of the preview and kick-off around the corner. Good morning. You're about to watch the Socceroos again go around live on Fox Sports, taking on Chinese Taipei in this World Cup qualifier. Back soon. Welcome back. Closed doors match again in Kuwait City with the Socceroos to take on Chinese Taipei. So you imagine, guys, that you like that music, did you?
Oh, it's good. It's good.
You're very bright early in the morning, aren't you?
I am this morning. Well, I didn't really get up, so.
Yeah. You just kept going all night.
Didn't really get up. That means you didn't go to bed, okay.
Yes.
The start was so good against Kuwait.
Yes.
I
We
mean,
spoke about getting an early goal. They did.
and 11 new players given a chance, so it's there.
Yeah.
It's basically there in front of them to replicate what the other 11 did against Kuwait.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be interested to see how they play. You got with the likes of Brandon Borrello as well, who can play wide if need be, and it's somebody I'm really looking forward to watching as well. So it'll be interesting to see what type of formation, because this is a time to experiment. Because like Robbie said, come September, there'll be hardly any preparation time, and it'll have to be drilled into the boys during this period as much as it possibly can about certain ways that Graham will like to play. He always likes to have his plan B, plan C, plan D. So this will be the time to do it.
It's perfect. It's almost like a glorified training camp, as much, with all due respect to the opposition coming. And
No, you're exactly right. That's what it is. This is the chance to build and look at different plays. That's why there's a 31-man squad. And it doesn't matter who you're playing. It still is international football. And, that does play with certain players. Putting on the green and gold is always something very, very special. And different players handle it in different ways.
It has been, it's trying conditions though, as you said, Mr. Weatherman over here. Ryan McGowan, for one, lost nearly 4 kilos in the game against Kuwait.
Can we send Bozza over then? You could have 90 minutes. We'll see how much you lose.
You're so funny.
You've got nothing left to lose, do you?
Well. Anyway, can we talk football?
About the football. Milos Degenek, James Holland, Awa Mobile, Ryan McGowan, Matt Ryan, Brad Smith, who's gone back to Seattle, Adam Taggart, they're the ones not involved this morning. Interesting about Taggart, he's, hopefully everything's okay physically, but he's not involved, and Giano as well, not involved, who was left out the other day with a bit of a niggle. But good to see Trent Sainsbury back. Interesting to see Trent Sainsbury's kind of just been off the radar for a while. He's been in Israel.
Yeah, but everyone's been
Belgium.
off the radar because of COVID. It's like we're rediscovering some of these players.
Yeah.
Well, no, Boz is never off the radar.
You're looking forward to seeing Brandon Borrello for one.
Yeah, I am. Exciting player. We remember him here, with Brisbane. And somebody, like I said, I always look forward to playing. He's one of those players that if he's on, he gets you to get out of your chair. He's a real excitement plus.
Tip gents and scoreline?
I'll go for 8.
5.
5-0.
Adam?
9.
9?
We're going to score 9 times.
9 times.
We're off to the anthems. On the other side of the anthems, to take you through this one, Andy Harper and Brenton Speed.
Stand for the national anthem of Chinese Taipei. And now, the national anthem of Australia.
Well, there is Australia's newest debutante, Deni Genreau, who becomes Socceroo number 610 today, lapping up that national anthem. The first French-born Socceroo in the history of Australian football. Congratulations to him. We saw 3 debutantes the other night, and now more to come. Here in Kuwait City, temperatures have dipped below 40 again, but it is the hottest country in the world right now. Temperatures over 50 degrees expected later in the week. Unsurprising then that Graham Arnold has taken the opportunity to change the entire 11 for this fixture. Trent Sainsbury captains his country for the 4th time.
Yellow for you, blue for him, same color.
We take ball.
Take ball, you can choices. Good luck. You can take photo.
Wu Chunqing, the captain of Chinese Taipei.
Brother, come. Excuse me.
52nd cap for him. And called back in for the photo shoot with tonight's referee from Qatar, Saud Ali. There is the debutante, Jamie McLaren, back up front as well, forming a tandem with Mitch Duke here this evening. For 4-2-2-2 formation for the Socceroos. Danny Vukovic in goal. Just his 4th cap, unattached right now, but expected to head to Holland to play his football from next season. And starting debuts for Riley McGree and Kenny Dougal, who came off the bench to play for Australia for the first time the other evening. Here is how Chinese Taipei line up. Expect them to be a bit more defensive than that. The Socceroos return to international action with a superb performance against Kuwait. Can they back it up here against Chinese Taipei? Expected to ensure their qualification for the next phase of the road to Qatar 2022 with another victory against Chinese Taipei tonight, who they've beaten 13 times out of 14, Andy Harper.
Yeah, g'day, Speedy. Qualification should be secured tonight by the Socceroos. This is as close as one might get to a mere formality. Speaking of David versus Goliath, and if Chinese Taipei have any stones available for their slingshot, they better get them ready.
Here's McGree, who lost possession initially, won it back, playing in that number 10 role this evening. The Birmingham City man, who'll stay with that club until the end of this calendar year at least, and then join Charlotte FC, the expansion club in the MLS in the United States, for their inaugural campaign in 2022. Grant getting forward, expect to see a lot of that tonight. The Sydney FC man, part of that back 4. He'll be the fullback getting forward with Curtis Good in the left back role, expected to be a bit more defensive minded. Shin An, 3-time winner of the Taiwan Premier League title with Tatang. Genreau already had some nice touches, likewise Barello. Mitch Duke trying to back heel to link up with Barello once more. Now Dougal alongside Genreau, anchoring midfield here this evening. Duke trying to keep it alive, but broken up successfully by Yoshitaki Komori, who made his debut the other night. A chance for Hai Xiaoyu to stretch out. They did score against Australia last time they met in a 7-1 defeat, Chinese Taipei, and getting right on the front foot here.
Very, very good. Counter-attack by Chinese Taipei.
Henry Von in charge, the 56-year-old born in East Timor. head-to-head with Graham Arnold, who scored more goals against Chinese Taipei than any other Socceroos, 6 of them a long time ago now. Here's Harry Sutar. He's got 2 goals against tonight's opponent, partnering Trent Sainsbury in the heart of defence. 3 in this lineup for Australia, 22 years or under, including Genro, who flicked it on for McLaren into a dangerous spot, and McGree didn't expect it to get all the way through. Grant tracked it down, whipped in by Dougal, onside. That was a big chance for Brandon Borrello at the back post, well found by Kenny Dougal.
Well, McLaren getting in behind defenders, which is something to which we've become very familiar. And Dougal dropping it beautifully, really nice flight on the ball, and Borrello did really well to get a meaningful effort on the end of it.
A couple of Queenslanders nearly combining to devastating effect there. Australia scored in the other opening minute the other night. Matthew Leckie on target against Kuwait. They've now won 5 games in a row for the first time in a decade. Haven't won 6 in a row for 20 years, not since Frank Farina's 2001 side. When they went to the Confederations Cup and got to 6 wins with a couple of early victories in that tournament. Header by Sutar, helped on by Borrello. Genro and Dougal, good communication between those two already. Blackpool Wembley hero, Kenny Dougal. Got some Scottish heritage. Also Thai parentage. And Genro, born in Paris in 1999. Closing down by Chen Chao-an. Part of that Tai Chung Futuro squad, 8 players from that team, part of the Chinese Taipei squad for this tournament. Misplaced pass from Kenny Dougal. It's the 4th time Kenny Dougal's been called up by a Socceroos coach for a camp. First time he's seen game time. Sutar again stepping up. McGree dropping deep. Genro seeing plenty of early possession. Graham Arnold not entirely happy with the opening 6 minutes here. Halves.
So they had the relief of an early goal against Kuwait. Maybe that's the expectation here, but certainly.
Genro going for goal. And the keeper, Shi Xinan, confidently watched it go wide.
Certainly Chinese Taipei defensively have shown already a lot more application than Kuwait the other day. Genro setting fair for goal, why not? Good opportunity to shoot.
His parents up early to watch their son in action. Sophie and Mark, who came to Australia before they were married, fell in love with the country, so when Denny was born, they soon came out to make a home in Australia. Actually watched the 2006 World Cup final at the French Embassy. When Denny was a young man, he cheered them on, but now here he is in green and gold. Dougal. Radar a little off with his last two attempted switches out to that left-hand side. Wins it back and finds the mark this time. Barello barged over inside the area, and the referee waves off the penalty appeal. Chinese Taipei were filthy with the early penalty they conceded against Nepal the other night, but like a decent case there for Barello. No VAR in operation.
No. The ball through to Barello there. He's pushed off the ball. I mean, I'm not quite sure how the ref doesn't see that as a foul, but there we go. Perhaps a bit of fortune for Australia's penalty award against Q8. Maybe that one's even things out.
And Henry Von, the coach of Chinese Taipei, spoke about the penalty concession against Nepal. Wasn't happy with the decision, thought he changed the game as well. They went on to lose that game against the other group minnow, 2-0. Played 6, lost 6, an aggregate of 27 goals to 2 against them. One of those 2 goals came against the Socceroos as McGree weaves his way through on his starting debut. McLaren sniffing around, claims a corner, and he gets it.
That's nice composed play by Riley McGree, just skipping through the heart of the Chinese Taipei defence. Ran out of room in the end. Gathered himself nicely on the edge of the box. Here we go. Just setting defenders up, squaring them up and rounding them nicely.
Big boots to fill as well in that playmaker role after the performance of Aiden Hrustic the other night. Delivers deep here for Sainsbury, looping it almost over the top of Shin An, who did well to backtrack and flip it over. McGree from the same side. Big Harry Sutar, an obvious threat. Scorer of 4 goals in his first 2 appearances for his country. The kind of goal-scoring success you expect for a centre-half. Tallest outfield player ever to represent Australia. Just 2 centimetres shy of 2 metres. McGree looks for him. Sutar's header, and he does have another international goal. 5 in 3 for Big Harry Sutar, who's such a weapon at those set pieces, and McGree picked him out.
Well, the early resistance for Chinese Taipei broken. And with the nature of this header from Harry Sutar, not just broken, but verily smashed. Just cannot cope. Cheng Hao was the nearest to patrol. The best he could do was try and hold on to Big Harry, who thumps the ball home for Australia's first. Nicely flighted corner from Riley McGree, and way too tempting for Harry Sutar.
Terrific campaign in England with Stoke City in the Championship, 38 league games with them. Just the 1 goal against the Wickham. But when he steps onto the international stage and wears the green and gold, the Aberdeen-born centre-half, he can't miss. Great exponent of the aerial side of the game. So 2 of those 22-year-olds combining. The first time we've had 3 players 22 years of age or under in a Socceroos starting 11 for 7 years, not since 2014. So Graham Arnold really trying to bring those Ollie Roo age players into the action. And they'll both be Olympians next month, the way things are going. Sutar and McGree, along with Genre. Good in that left back role. Barello. Well read in the middle by Cheng Hao. Setting up with that back five now, and then the four in front of them. Chinese Taipei. Pass a move is the cry. That's something Danny Genre loves to watch. Watches a lot of Manchester City and Barcelona for the way that they play. Grant on the move. Just picked him up a little late, I think. Offside flag will surely come. And does eventually against the Sydney FC man.
Slightly overhit by Kenny Dougal, but all a moot point because Ryan Grant mistimed his run. That's the effort from Sainsbury, which forced keeper Arndt to just tap over. And here's the goal from Harry Suter. Stop me if you can. Barely a contest, really.
Interesting to see how some of these Australian players go about it. Ryan Grant in that right back role where Fran Karacic was magnificent the other night. Who will be the #1 right back going forward? I wonder for the Socceroos after this stint of 4 games in Q8. Josh Risdon was the starter in that role in the last World Cup. He's had a terrible time with injuries. We wish him well on the recovery front, the Western United man. Two v Chinese Taipei. Last time he faced them, 2 on debut against Nepal, and another against Chinese Taipei tonight for Harry Suter. Ball speed, the cry from Graham Arnold. Barello looking dangerous. Mitch Duke full of energy. Well defended by Cheng Hao, but the ball had crossed the sideline. McLaren bouncing it back, intended for Duke, but tidied up by Emilio Estevez. Decent ball turning Curtis Good around. Outstanding season with Melbourne City as they lifted that Premier's plate and saw off the initial threat posed by Gao.
Just see the difficulty of the playing surface. The Socceroos trying to move the ball quickly. And in tight situations, those bobbles are proving really difficult to deal with. Which already had a lot of football on it. Of course, all these group matches played on the one venue. So it's getting plenty of traffic, and it was a little scratchy to start with, truth be told.
Grant didn't really deal with it. Here is Emilio Estevez, the Canadian-born midfielder, turning Grant inside out and bringing out the best in Danny Vukovic guarding that near post. He appeals for a penalty. Fall on deaf ears, but they do get the corner.
Nice sharp play from Estevez. And Danny Vukovic already having to do more in this game than Matty Ryan did the entire game almost of Q8. Very, very good effort at the near post from the corner taker.
I'm pretty sure that's an illegal corner placement of the ball, but Emilio Estevez, anything goes for him right now. Not named after the actor with the quack, quack, quack and all that in Mighty Ducks, but named after Emilio Butragueño, the Spanish and Real Madrid legend. One of his parents is from Spain, the other from Chinese Taipei. And he has been dubbed the Taiwanese Aiden Hazard, and he's grabbed another couple of centimetres here. Good work if he can get away with it. And flicked on and dealt with by the Socceroos second time around. Now Dougal able to clear via McLaren, but he gave it up. Composure from Sainsbury. Such a relaxed player, unhurried. He's been playing his football most recently in Belgium with Kortrijk. 17 games for them. And 1 cap away from 50 for his country now.
Which, according to my rudimentary stat, Speedy, means that he's only played more times for the Central Coast Mariners.
He's had a few clubs. Top flight football in a lot of countries now, including Italy, Holland, Switzerland, Belgium, Israel. Defensive work from the skipper, Wu Chunqing, reigning MVP in the Chinese Taipei League. McGree turns the corner. Oh, not a whole lot of contact, but then he copped a boot to the head. And hopefully no damage done as Estevez went for the man leading the line, Chen, from the Taiwan Steel Club. It's a poor ball by Good. Undersold it for his teammate. Confirmation of how difficult the playing surface is to get used to. Was this a foul on McGree? That was.
Well, he's reached out. I think that's a foul there. Maybe Riley had overbalance till then. Wow, honestly, I thought the brawler from Grawler just thought, hang on a minute, I didn't grow up playing rugby union. That's what happens when you're going for the breakdown.
Yeah, there's some studs on his back. It won't tickle when he goes in for the shower post-game. Estevez proving difficult to contain, but that time the double team worked out, and McGree threads the needle. McLaren knows Duke is there. Just ran away from Australia's number 9. Again, they're turning Curtis Good around. Perhaps their scouting report revealing that he's not really known as a left back. Last time we've got him down as playing as a left back in the A-League was a decade ago. Genre with the time to get his head up. McLaren struggling to get into the game. Barello. All in all challenge. Flew in from Pye.
There's an overhit pass again from Mitch Duke. Turned that one into a bit more of a contest. Once Brandon Barello's received this ball, here's the very, very nice work from Estevez and Danny Vukovic. Ryan Grant, left stretching. Really sharp from both attacker and goalkeeper.
In swinging corner, Sutar the target. The goalkeeper came. McGree's shot was blocked and couldn't bring it down in time. And the volley from the edge of the area. Good goalkeeping by Shi. Knew he had to deal with the threat of Sutar at source.
Yeah, and they're energetic enough to force the rush shots. Enjoying seeing the repeated replays of Emilio Estevez. The best part of the game so far. Part, of course, from Harry Sutar's goal.
Putting himself in the shop window as well. Doesn't have a club right now. Has spent some time in Europe. Emilio Estevez, but has left his Spanish third-tier club, Orense. There'll be viewers saying, bring him to the A-League. I'll just turn Ryan Grant inside out. Barello. Helped on by Chen. Back in by Grant. And the header on target again. This time it was Mitch Duke rising. No stranger to headed goals with the Wanderers.
And a nice bit of work from Ryan Grant. Really nicely flighted ball in. So, after the 20-odd minutes, one of the rare moments when one-on-one an Australian has beaten the man and delivered into the penalty area. Not a unique moment. Riley McGree's been quite active in that discussion, but the Australians basically with their delivery, their execution, a little bit sloppy compared with the other morning against Kuwait. I think a big part of that is the greater application defensively from Chinese Taipei. Yeah. Very resilient. The team that is bottom of the group and has conceded the most goals have looked in this match so far to try and make a point. Oh, what about that whistle? Talk about making a point. We can let barges inside the box go, but slight niggle on halfway. Blow that one up emphatically.
Borello. Another misplaced pass from Brandon Borello, who's been playing with Fortuna Dusseldorf in the Bundesliga 2 this season. They finished 5th in that league. Has played in the top flight in Germany in years gone by with Freiburg. That's that ball that just got away from McLaren, who knew Duke was there for the potential tap-in if the ball had been a little better for him. Better pass by Dougal that time to the feet of McGree. Only getting his message across as Borello peels wide for the switch. Jonro looked right through the middle for McLaren. Yoshitaka Gamori had his pocket picked, and that is a penalty. McLaren scythed down by Chen Wei Xuan, and Australia do have a spot kick now.
Well, Jamie McLaren does this very good work off the ball. Read the situation against the defender really nicely. And now it's he who gets the chance to convert the penalty he won.
Has such a hunger for goals. Does J-Mac. 104 A-League goals now in 149 games. He's a 3-time A-League Golden Boot winner, including this season. 25 goals with Melbourne City. Jamie McLaren from the spot blasts it straight down the middle and has another international goal. Goal number 6 for his country. 2 of those now against Chinese Taipei. And for his family and friends doing it tough back in Melbourne, that's a lifter for them.
Look at him. Fantastic work off the ball. Komori Yoshitaka was outfoxed by McLaren, and as soon as there was an inkling, a half a gap to nip in and steal the ball, he did just that. Hacked down, penalty awarded, penalty converted. Australia 2-0.
Suffered the misfortune of having his wedding to Eva postponed for a second time due to COVID lockdowns at the end of last month. It will be 3rd time lucky for them at some stage. And now McGree back off the post. Grant is there looking for teammates in the middle. And the offside flag goes up against Australia.
Yeah, it's a good call from the assistant. Riley McGree's shot didn't look overly threatening off the boot.
McGree able to drag it down. Confirmation of the booking for the man who gave up the spot kick. Grant just taking off down that right-hand side. And this will work out for McLaren. Good save, but the tap-in coming up. Well, somehow Borrello has contrived to put it onto the post. Was there a deflection off the defender? Chinese Taipei don't mind. It remains just 2-0 the deficit. Yet to score an international goal, Brandon Borrello, he thought his moment had arrived.
He's not going to get a better one. But he's not quite been as sharp today, Brandon, as we've seen him before. Good save from the keeper in one sense, and the deflection did fall so beautifully for Brandon Borrello. And it should be 3-0.
No touch off the defender. That was Borrello by himself putting it onto the woodwork, which has been struck twice in a couple of minutes. First McGree and then Borrello. Duke, who played McLaren through a moment ago, looks for McGree this time. Good safe defending in the end by Chen. He's the tricky customer, Emilio Estevez, who earns the goal kick. Actually debuted against the Socceroos in 2019. McLaren was goalless in his first 9 appearances for Australia and got off the mark at that 2019 Asian Cup against Palestine. And now up to half a dozen international goals. What a header from Suter. Sometimes we can lament the heading in modern football, but Harry Suter has learned how to do it.
Well, it's a key advantage of his, 198 centimetres and a powerful header of the ball. On top of that, makes it a very imposing prospect.
Treatment for Chen, the Taichung Futuro man, who's done a reasonable job in that left-back role so far. Still just 27 years of age. So much ahead of Jamie McLaren. Matt Leckie is a club teammate next season. If McLaren does stay with Melbourne City, of course, there's always talk that he might head overseas, try his luck again. He had success in the Scottish Premier League with Hibernian. Also spent time in Germany. Big news on the Australian football front regarding the Scottish Premier League. Looks like Ange Postecoglou's move to become the new boss of Celtic is going through it. Amazing news.
It's fantastic. Hang on for what's going to be a fantastic ride, I'm sure.
Sainsbury back to Vukovic, who earns his 4th cap tonight. Word is that he'll wind up with Nick Nijmegen in the Dutch league. after departing Genk a few months back now to return to Australia for the birth of young Axel. McGree flicking it over Chen. Genre with a burst from midfield, opened up a bit of space here for McGree. And in turn, Dougal. Morello's back heel. Well read by Pai Xiao Yu. Emphatic punch clear by Shi. Humidity only around 24%, so even though the temperatures are high, Australia able to keep the tempo high. And Borrello arriving again, trying to meet that bouncing ball. All three attackers in a goal-scoring position there.
Yeah, but again, consider the weight of possession, how well and diligently Chinese Taipei have defended that one. Bad error of timing and judgment. Well, there were probably two, but only one was awarded a penalty. But playing without the ball, they're looking half a chance on the counter-attack. No more than that, but still that's enough to keep the Australians on their toes. They've defended their penalty area particularly well. On balance.
Last time they met at about this stage, it was Australia 2, Chinese Taipei 1. Before the Socceroos went on the romp to win 7-1 away from home. Aggregate down the years against Chinese Taipei, 55 goals scored, 8 conceded. Only positive result for the underdogs was a 0-0 in a 1981 World Cup qualifier. Sainsbury. Shoot, just finding a little bit of space. McGree tried to turn it on towards him. Didn't have a whole lot of options to pass forward there, Kenny Dougal. And Genre forced backwards as well by the presence of Wu Chunqing. Genre trying to wait it for McGree. Oof, that could have been really awkward. Australia's lead established by Harry Sutar's header and Jamie McLaren's penalty. Chinese Taipei proving tough to break down in the last 5 minutes or so. How good a spot was that by the assistant, who's having quite the game. Our Qatari linesman.
Doing well. Decent bit of camera work as well.
Whole of the ball must cross the whole of the line, of course. Control by Wu Chunqing. Great skills to negotiate Genre, but Sainsbury and Good work it out in the end. 7 years and 94 days between his first and second caps for Curtis Good. It's a modern day record on that front. Only bettered by a couple of Socceroos back in the 1950s.
Well, it's a decent 7-year itch.
Yes.
He's overcome overcome a series of really difficult injuries, but the last couple of years look terrific for Melbourne City. It's a thoroughly deserved call-up.
Ray Marshall and Ted Drain in the 1950s had an 8-year itch that they eventually scratched to get their second cap.
Doesn't quite have the same ring to it, though, does it?
No, it doesn't. And he debuted against Ecuador under Ange Postecoglou in 2014, Curtis Good, and was set to go to that World Cup, but did his hip flexor in that game and then required 3 surgeries, thought about giving up on his football dream. Eventually got his body right. Here's McGree finding Duke, looking for McLaren, and overhit for his strike partner.
Well, Riley McGree, in difficult circumstances, more so the pitch than the opposition, who have been pretty resolute. But Riley's been terrific in that attacking midfield position, one of the 2 10s. Left footer playing on the right-hand side, attacking midfielder.
Grant making that trademark run. Genre whipped it in at speed. That was awkward for the defenders and took a touch of Chen, who gave away that spot kick for another corner here. McGree has already put it on the spot for Suter from this same corner earlier in the half. And another header back off the bar, this time from Big Harry. Recycled by Dougal. Back out to McGree. Drove it in low and on the stretch. A very important touch from Chen Ting Yang.
Well, the thing that set Riley McGree apart for me is his ability one-on-one to beat his immediate opponent repeatedly.
Hangs it up this time. And the header sneaks in at that near post. Pinpoint stuff from Trent Sainsbury, today's captain, who has his 4th international goal, trying to keep pace with Big Harry.
Well, McGree, who wins the corner initially. He floats the ball in beautifully for Sainsbury's goal, Australia's 2nd from corner kicks. Good header at the near post. Keeper reacted just a little late. A lot of the attention goes towards Harry Suter. Trent Sainsbury manages his assignment really well on the far post.
Dougal denied that win in midfield by the referee. Graham Arnold has talked about not taking overage players to Japan unless a particular part of the pitch is deficient. I just wonder whether Trent Sainsbury, who is his son-in-law, could help stiffen up their defence at Japan next month. And he's playing alongside Harry Suter today, who'll definitely be part of that Olympic squad, and they're both on the score sheet today. Good challenge by Genre. Not afraid to mix it up in midfield.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Obviously not privy to who Graham Arnold might be contemplating or what his options might be, except to say that if I'm Kai Rolls, I'd be disappointed to miss out just as one player who's been outstanding in the A-League this year, which is, I'll hasten to add, not a comment at all about Trent Sainsbury, but Graham Arnold has championed the cause of young players. I think that is a reasonable discussion point to have now that you raise it, Brenton.
Agree again. Able to elude challenges. Nice little link up again. Emilio Estevez involved with Wu Chun-Ching. Late challenge there by Genre. Will the ref come back for that? Chinese Taipei wanted him to, but no whistle. Duke able to turn. Grant pushing forward again. Took a little while to get to him. Grant so used to playing with Luke Bratton at club level, who pings those passes to him in a hurry. Jonro keeping it on that far side for Good to deliver all the way through to Grant as the fullbacks combined. A la Liverpool, which Arnie likes to base his game on. And Grant couldn't keep his strike down.
Well, Australia have had hit the post a couple of times. That's one of them. And Sainsbury on the far post, Good for the third. But the one, I guess, well, disappointment's way too strong a word, but Graham Arnold will be wanting some of these conversions from general play. It's a penalty and 2 corners, which have yielded the goals. They've had possession, finishing on occasion, not been up to scratch, nor the delivery. And being the perfectionist that he is, and needing to prepare for more difficult opposition down the track, he'll want his team to be more clinical with their attack.
Same thing the other night, all from set pieces. Including that wonderful Krustic free kick. The rebound penalty that Irvine struck home. Awkward for the goalkeeper again. Knocked out by his defenders this time. Clearance only as far as Borrello. Good charge down though. There might be a counter-attack on here. And Borrello looking to make up the ground. Wasn't a bad idea, but that pass won't find the mark from Wu Chunching. Couple of minutes being added on here at the end of the first half by our Qatari referee. Socceroos fashion one last chance before the break here. And click into gear in general play. Duke robbed of possession by Cheng Hao, who's looking for options. There wasn't a whole lot for him. Gremlins in the satellite affecting our pictures from Q8. Off the chest of Duke, almost worked out for McLaren. Good use of the body by Gao Weiji. Just about seen them through to half-time. Well, this will suit them. Happy to waste time if the referee puts them back in position for the throw. They've just chewed up the last 30 seconds of the first half without even taking the throw. Half-time in Q8. Same scoreline that we saw the other night at full-time. It's Australia 3, Chinese Taipei 0.
Yeah, a first half that will do for the Socceroos. We'll be back in a moment with Robbie Slater and also Mark Bosnich to analyse that and look ahead to the second half as Socceroos look to qualify for the next stage of this World Cup campaign. All eyes on Qatar for next year. We'll be back in a moment to analyse that first half. Good to have your company. Half-time, Australia 3, Chinese Taipei 0 in this World Cup qualifier in baking hot Kuwait. 38 degrees, 11 o'clock at night. Need the aircon. Graham Arnold, pretty happy with things, you dare say, at the break. His two central defenders are on the score sheet. Set piece of their strength for Australian football, but Robbie Slater and Mark Bosnich here to analyse this first half. Overall, thoughts, Bozza?
I thought it was okay, but I thought a lot of the play was inhibited. The pitch has obviously taken a right battering, and it's really starting to play an effect in terms of the type of football they want to play. And hence, you talk about two set plays, you can say really three, the penalty as well. But again, job done in terms of game over. But we obviously would like to see a little bit more free-flowing football. It's so difficult. Even when Chinese Taipei broke right towards the end and the boy tried to play that ball across, it was bumping around like it was, I don't know, a fourth-day cricket pitch, Adam.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Robbie, it's hard to play fluid football, and it wasn't quite as fluid as the Kuwait match, certainly the first half.
No, it wasn't, but completely dominated the game. Chinese Taipei, in that second part of the first half, could hardly get out of their own half, and yeah, the pitch is playing, making it difficult for the ball speed and moving that ball quickly. But I thought McGree was outstanding. Riley McGree, I think, they've been busy up front. McLaren always looking a threat, but unsurprising set pieces, the way they sit back, and our obvious threat with Suter and Sainsbury getting a goal, but he's hit the bar as well.
Yep.
Harry Suter, but I just thought that it's an exercise in how many really we are going to get in the end.
Bozza, what would you do if you're Chinese Taipei or any opposition when you got Harry Suter waiting for the ball from a corner?
Well, it's quite simple. Double mark.
Yep.
Yeah, double mark. One to watch the actual
One in
player
front.
and one to watch the ball. Simple as that. The one that watches the player, you just make sure you tell him that he doesn't get a clear header on the ball. And you obviously say to him without obviously fouling him, but in a way that makes it very difficult. And the other one watching the ball, that's all.
The thing is that the Chinese, no disrespect to them, but they don't have the technical ability to stop it. They're just not good enough. And that's where they're at. We know that. We spoke about that before the game. But these are the things that they will learn from. But for us, it's, like I said, it's obviously not a training session. It's an international match. But it is really about combinations and trying to get as much fluidity as you can into your play and scoring more goals. That's what it's all about, this kind of an affair.
Well, Jamie McLaren was certainly alert as Chinese Taipei tried to play out at one stage here, and he just read this beautifully from his opponent that was in front of him, and he nearly got his leg taken off.
What I love too as well, the guy that starts complaining to the referee, so you got the ball. he may have got a bit of the ball, but he got a lot of Jamie McLaren, and he just smashed that away straight down the middle. But coming back to what I said originally in terms of from Australia's perspective, that goes to Chinese Taipei as well. I can understand what they're trying to do, brilliant. But on a pitch like that, some of the greatest passers of the ball would struggle on that.
Having a look at Trent Sainsbury's goal as well, which he didn't really celebrate with much gusto at all. I think he was looking forward to half-time, but it was a nice header, but near post. Don't know how it gets through there.
Yeah, and set pieces were always going to threaten, as we saw. Harry Suter hit the crossbar when he probably should have scored with a header, but this one, it's almost too easy. Yeah, it's a simple ball. They've got bodies at the back post, but they just don't have the ability to deal with it.
Having a look at the chances that Australia created, and I mean, the great Emilio Estevez had a good chance early in that first half.
Good save from Danny Vukovic.
It was a very good save, but overall, getting things going, and we talk about building blocks for the next stage and the next game for Graham Arnold, and combinations. I mean, there's 31 players, now 30 players over there, just trying to combine and play through lines and work it out. It's not easy, as you say, Bozza, but what would you say we're looking for in this second half with the ball?
Well, with the ball, I would say a little bit more danger from when they get it about 35, 40 metres out. And when I say danger, those are the type of positions that you want to really set up the play. Okay, so you've got really good possession, say just on the edge of the circle in their half of your two centre backs. Then I want to start looking for the movement from the midfield, from the front people to see where they're going to go, and more importantly, that then players started to get in the mode when they're playing for Australia. They know this is exactly what's going to happen. That type of, just a little bit forward of that type of position, and that's the type of movement and play I want to see more of.
Yeah, Brandon Barello thought he had a goal, Rob, and then he didn't have a goal.
Yeah, it looked like he was really concentrating to tap that one home. He was a little bit unlucky, but as you can say, very, very one-sided, and it's really in this game in the second half, you've got the feeling of just how many it's going to be.
Well, we'll find out after the break with the second half on the way from Kuwait with the Socceroos in control, 3-0 ahead over Chinese Taipei. Back in a moment. Now. 6 o'clock on the east coast of Australia. Good morning, and if you're just waking up and you're going to catch the second half of the Socceroos, you'll do so with the knowledge that they're leading 3-0 over Chinese Taipei. Goals to Harry Suter, Trent Sainsbury, and in between all of that was a penalty for Jamie McLaren. Well taken penalty after he won it himself, got clattered, truth be told, that he got up and took it and put it away. 3-0. Half-time, so a number of players, and we are hearing that Connor Metcalf and Ruan Toniek are going to get some minutes.
Excellent.
That'll be good to see, Robbie.
Yeah, well, the more players that they can use is the better, because it's international experience. In spite of the opposition being not that strong, it still is, you know, game time on the international stage. So it's very important for those players.
You will see Aiden Rustic again at some stage after his performance the other day, or just saying?
We'd love to, but I would just save him. Of course, we'd love to, especially with the state of the pitch. I mean, can you imagine if you know, to guarantee top spot, I still think, you know, which will mean automatic qualification, even though I still think that will be one of the best runners up anyway. But we'll have to beat Jordan that last game, so just to make sure that nothing goes awry in terms of with the state of the pitch and maybe rolling an ankle or something like that.
Yeah. The 5 changes are permissible though, including some at half-time, which won't mean a window. But
given the heat and the state of the pitch, it looks heavy. That there's obviously going to be all those substitutions used.
Anyone else you'd like to see, boss? Shopping list?
Rukavica.
Yes, Nikita Rukavica, who's scored a lot of goals over in Israel.
Economides as well
in the last couple of seasons. Yeah,
so there you go.
Rukavica is winning trophies as well over there. He scored 41 goals in league football in the last 2 seasons in Israel. So, hopefully see him. We can see that the Socceroos are moving back out there for the second half. And, we'll find out soon enough. I don't know where Chinese Taipei are. Here they come. That's great news. We've got an opposition for the second half. Robbie Slater, Mark Bosnich, see you at full time for the analysis of what we're about to see. And let's get back to our commentary team of Andy Harper and Brenton Speed for the second half in Kuwait.
Thanks, Adam. And you will have noted the Socceroos wearing black armbands tonight, honouring a number of people who made significant contributions to the Socceroos and Australian football, who passed away between November 2019 and this international window. Former Socceroos coaches Frank Arrock and Pim Verbeek remembered, and former players Alan Marnock, Bill Murphy and Alan Garside, all amazing contributors, Andy Harper.
Certainly, Speedy, and the life cycle. No one can beat it. But to have their contributions remembered, significant as they were to the cause of national team football in Australia, is right and proper.
Players back in position. Chinese Taipei with that back 5 ready to absorb some more pressure here. And away we go in the second half in Kuwait City. Absolutely no pressure on the kickoff routine. Australia able to stroll forward. And John Rowe to keep it alive. Clever little feint. And now uses the wide man Barello. Little teaser inside, and the header at the near post from Mitch Duke. It took less than 20 seconds straight from the kickoff. That will please Graham Arnold. It is a goal from general play, and that routine will be analysed over and over again with pleasure.
Well, the game hasn't quite gone Brandon Barello's way this game, but Jean-Rowe put it on a tee. Barello hairs after it and drops a really tasty ball in there. Nice work from Denny Jean-Rowe. And Borello, beautiful touch on that cross at full speed. The Socceroos have had difficulty running this ball down to the byline. And then Mitch Duke nicking in at the near post with an emphatic header. 4 goals, 3 headers. But that was a nice one from the Socceroos. Right out of the sheds.
Another trick from Estevez with a nutmeg on Ryan Grant this time, and then fouled by Kenny Dougal. Is full of tricks, but Mitch Duke has his 3rd international goal, and his Saudi club only 640 k's down the road from here, where he'll be playing with Al Tawoon. Apparently after these 4 games in Kuwait, he'll be heading back to the UK to see his wife and kids, and then return to his Saudi club for next season. Change made by Chinese Taipei. Fresh legs. There was only 1 change made to the starting 11 after defeat against Nepal 4 days ago. Oh, heavy touch allows McLaren in, and the goalkeeper gets away with it. And J-Mac will know that he's let one go there. Dougal could have gone wide to Grant, does so eventually. Numbers forward here from Australia, but Grant throws his head back in frustration after again not getting the better of Chen Xiaoan. John Rowe, super debut so far from him. Winning back his fair share in midfield, making Australia tick. Off the arm of Jean Rowe, right in front of the referee. Neat switch from Wu Chun-Ching, but in the end it frustrated Chen Xiaoan. Borello with that assist to his name combines with Jean Rowe once more. Couldn't wrap his boot around it. Tried the audacious again, and caused some damage to the camera behind the goals. I think one of the lenses went flying about 15 metres there.
Well, this is the beautiful ball he put in for Mitch Duke. Really good start to the second half from the Socceroos. Imagine what this pitch is going to be like another 4 games' time. It's really struggling at the moment to provide the players with the opportunity to entertain.
I think Australia are moving across town for their next fixture, so hopefully a better playing surface at the smaller venue for their next game against Nepal, and they'll round it off against Jordan. Borello caught by a ball and all challenge. Referee says there's the ball. Curtis Good has it. Let's play on. Good, advancing a little more, just teasing one in towards McGree. And now Duke tried to thread the needle for McLaren, who made a nice move off the ball. Numbers forward here. If Grant can fashion a cross, he can. Barello with time to bring it down. Took himself away from goal in the end. Good overlapping this time. He's got the nod from Graham Arnold to get a little more adventurous down that left-hand side. Grant, early service. Back in by Good. Chinese Taipei stand tall on that occasion. McGree wriggling his way into space. Dougal. Can't get out at the moment, Chinese Taipei. That's a little win, forcing Australia back into their own half briefly. Dougal will be playing in the championship next season with Blackpool, after helping them to that promotion with his heroics at Wembley. Lifted in, and McLaren very nearly. He's run well tracked in the end. Dougal just enough on it to find Barello, but he's robbed of possession. The counter-attack was there to be launched, but Emilio Estevez let down by the pass out of defence. Arnold must be pondering a sub or two in the next 5 minutes, perhaps. Jean-Rowe between the lines, and that's a free kick, is it, for Duke, who's furious. Clearly held back. Not sure he was going to get to the ball, but a massive risk taken by the man who is on a yellow card, Chen Wei Chuan. Grant set too big a task by McGree.
Well, he's missed a couple. He's had good view of both of them. One in the first half on Brandon Barello, and a nice through ball from Denny Jean-Rowe. And defenders yanking strikers back with impunity. It's the 12th law of the game.
Wonder if Curtis Good will get the chance to share the pitch with his former under-11s teammate Jackson Irvine today. They go back a long way. And the shot is looping onto the roof of the net. Half chance, nearly capitalised on by Chen Jiu-Chi.
I thought that was probably a corner as well. Chen was appealing for that, and I thought there was a defender's boot involved in that mix as well.
Barello whipping it in. Duke made front position. Suitor, the suspicion that it did deflect off him. for that chance a moment ago. Much more proactive in this half. Curtis Good. Keeper elects to punch. Decent distance on it as well. Needed it to be. Grant sets it up for Duke to attack. Brandon Borello all action as he set off after that one and gets a pat on the back from his coach. There's a look at the substitutes briefly as Mitch Duke gets a talking to after complaining about that earlier decision that did not go his way. Matt Leckie and Boyle could see the funny side. Tougher tasks lay ahead for Graham Arnold on their journey to next year's World Cup. Can Australia qualify again, as they have done for every World Cup, 2006 and beyond? Good passing sequence here from the Socceroos. And Genre kept on running. New contact was coming. Well defended in the end by Chen Hao. Familiar run from Ryan Grant. Famous grand final run with Sydney FC last year.
That's where we started. Chen in on John Rowe. Down in the left corner for another throw in.
Grant arriving late here. Good defending twice over by Gao. One back by Borello. Again, his pass easily read. Good time by the substitute too. Estevez. I'd like to see him in a better equipped team. If he played alongside some superstars that were dominating the game, he'd have some fun.
He might have a little bit more of an impact.
Mitch Duke has to see the irony in that, doesn't he? That is a foul. Not for him moments ago, going inside the Chinese Taipei penalty area.
All right, boys. One step up, boys. One step up.
So we're about to tick past the hour mark in Q8 City. No changes as yet for Australia. One made so far by Chinese Taipei. What can Wu Chun-Ching dish up from this set piece? The reigning MVP at Tainan City in the domestic league back home. Four times he's lifted the silverware, the Premier League trophy back home. And never got hold of it. Easily dealt with by Grant. Australia look to push out. Tracked down in the corner. Curtis Good dealing with the threat there of Chen. They've worked it nicely here. Inside the area goes the substitute. Cutback is on and placed home. They score against the Socceroos again, Chinese Taipei. And look at the celebrations. It means so much to Gao Weiji. The Socceroos were wide open with the cutback. They're 4-1 down, but it feels like they've won the World Cup.
Well, they've looked half threatening on a couple of occasions, but they got in behind the defence nicely. The cutback was really, really good. Beautiful to the byline. And Gao Weiji with the perfect finish, unerring, on the angle, side foot, into the back of the net. It's a great reward for Chinese Taipei. And it's a beasting for the Socceroos.
Danny Vukovic did not stand a chance in goal, and he'll always remember his international debut. Gao Weiji blasting one past the Aussies. Australia looking to hit straight back. Substitutions have been made. First contribution there from Economides, just off the bench. Connor Metcalf, that is, in the number 2 on his international debut. And Economides looking for the audacious, but congratulations to the 21-year-old Connor Metcalf, who's at that standout season with Melbourne City, helping them lift the Premier's plate. Mum and Dad, Grant and Francine, tend to get to every game back home and watch him, but they'll have to watch this one from home, of course, and congratulations to the Metcalf family.
Indeed. I wonder if Grant will have broken open the saxophone for an early morning rendition of the national anthem. Connor takes the field. What a wonderful moment for the family. Thoroughly deserved. He's a powerhouse, and he's on this trajectory going to be a prominent figure for the Socceroos for years to come, in my estimation.
And will always be Socceroo number 611. Another 2 debutantes for Australia tonight after 3 the other night, so 5 already in this little mini tournament in Kuwait. McGree. Economides from the Perth Glory. For the former Melbourne City, Adelaide United and Newcastle man, Riley McGree. John Rowe of MacArthur FC. Curtis Good of Melbourne City. A lot of A-League talent out there on the pitch. Economides stands it up. She burst off his line. Metcalf. All the way through to Economides. Got the defender right where he wanted him. Metcalf trying to get on the end of things in the middle. Goes down and gets the decision that he was after. Pai Xiaoyu. Henry Vaughan turns to his bench. Fresh legs in the attacking third. Lin Mingwei and Li Mao about to join us with just over a quarter of the 90 to go. And is the goal scorer to make way. Gao Weiji. That strike will be celebrated for a long time to come. From the Thai Power Club back in his homeland. Did not waste his opportunity.
Substitution for Chinese Taipei as well. Player number 9, Li Mao. Number 15, Gao Weiji.
Strange number for Connor Metcalf. I'm sure he wouldn't have expected to be wearing the number 2 on debut. But they hand out the numbers on game day. He'd rather wear the number 8, of course. Always looked up to Stephen Gerrard and talks about channeling his inner Stevie G every now and then. Been able to see what Melbourne City will be missing for their semi-final in a couple of weeks' time today, with all 3 of their Socceroos getting game time today. Metcalf, Good and McLaren. A couple of them combining here. Good. Received from Metcalf. Economides delivered. Duke on the end of things. She launching it, looking for the skipper. Game might just open up here. Chinese Taipei, with their tails up, have levelled things so far as the second half is concerned. Copped that early goal 20 seconds into this second period, and now have the equaliser if we're playing halves.
Yeah. Economides slipping over. Referee accusing him of controlling the ball with his hand.
And what do you want to see out of this last quarter of the game?
Or some polish in front of the goal. I think the assignment remains the same.
Good, just lending a hand there to Suter. Danny Vukovic been keeping sharp for this international duty by training with Sydney FC since returning to Australia. So been doing individual sessions with John Crawley, who is the goalkeeping coach for the Socceroos. Keep your eye on the ball on this pitch. It bobbles its way to Good. It's been much more involved in this second half, joining the attack. Economides into a dangerous area. Well, tidied up at the back by Chen. Economides proving a useful outlet since joining us in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, and he's trying to square up his fullback, take him on, shift the weight and maybe get past him, and that's one thing you'd like to see more Socceroos try and do, is beat their man one-on-one. He's getting to these sequences against packed defences where you try to pass your ball through, and at some point someone's got to try and take an initiative, break the line, mix things up a tad.
What about that little quip from Mitch Duke? There's no VAR, mate. Get back to your feet. Let's see what VAR might have made of it if they've captured it on this replay. Not on that shot. It's the man who provided that wonderful assist to Xiao Qi. Genre's in swinger and the header on target. Didn't require his goalkeeper. Well cleared. Chen Chaoan with the initial header clear and then the foul on the edge of the area going against the Socceroos. Sainsbury trying the extravagant. And that's what it was that caused the stoppage originally. McLaren wasn't sure what all the fuss was about. At the Jaber Al Ahmad International Stadium in Kuwait City. Capacity of 60,000, but fans even locked out when Kuwait played due to the COVID numbers in this part of the world. Oh, nasty challenge on Mitch Duke, who's had a running battle with several of these Chinese Taipei opponents. And that is the man who picked up the yellow card for a similar challenge on Jamie McLaren that led to the penalty. Referee very lenient not to send him off there.
I don't know. He has gone in for the ball, but I'm not questioning that, but he's completely from behind and quite reckless by my estimation.
So here comes Aiden Hrustic. Last time he came on against Chinese Taipei, he provided 3 assists in a cameo to remember. Replaces Riley McGree and will go straight on to set-piece duty. And here comes Nikita Rukavitsia, who's had another amazing campaign in Israel with Maccabi Haifa. King Nicky, as he's referred to. Trent Sainsbury let us in on that. And the strike immediately from Hrustic, low and hard and on target.
Nice hit. I thought Riley McGree was good, particularly in the first half, a little quieter in the second half.
Rukavitsa get a goal-scoring chance. He's only scored 1 international goal. That came almost a decade ago now against South Korea. Hrustic already looking the part again. Much better flow. And he's out there for Australia seemingly. Aiden Hrustic plays in the Bundesliga, a sure first touch. Force backwards. Hasn't been his day, Ryan Grant out there in the right back role.
Just right, and Hrustic hobbling a little bit.
Rukavitsa caught this time. Back to his feet and played in here by Metcalf. Heavy touch though, allowed the goalkeeper to let it run.
It's a beautiful ball through from Connor Metcalf. Heavy touch. First up from Nikita Rukavica.
He went on a world-leading 13-game goal-scoring streak at one stage this season. Rukavica with Maccabi Haifa in Israel. Another emphatic header from Suta. And a foul against the Konomedes. Wu Chun Ching staying down after being the meat in the Australian sandwich there. Suta one way, Metcalf the other. First time we've seen Rukavica since just before the 2018 World Cup, when Bert von Marwijk played him a couple of times. But with that goal-scoring record, you'd say he's going to be in each and every squad right now.
Well, the thing about Nikita was always, at some point, his speed can break a defence. That might have dulled a little bit with the passing of time, but he's picked up a goal-scoring knack. Seems to make him a great pinch-hitting option.
Lovely switch to Economides. Frustic. He can't quite believe that decision, but Lin Mingwei felt he was caught by the studs of Frustic. Was the only Aussie to score in one of Europe's top 5 leagues this season, with Eintracht Frankfurt in the German Bundesliga. Clever by Economides. Glides away. Looks for the run of Rukavica. Goes for goal instead.
Nice positive play from Economides. He had the bit between his teeth as soon as he come on. Taking on players. That was a good burst through the centre of the field, and there was no Chinese Taipei defender looking to stop his progress. So he backed himself to shoot from distance.
All 5 available substitutions used by Henry Von. Liang Mengxin and Xu Hengping, the latest to join us. Nawaf Shakrallah of Bahrain, the 4th official, being kept busy. Expect to see him in charge of one of Australia's games later in this tournament. Vastly experienced referee. Inside the final 10 minutes we go, and very respectable scoreline for Chinese Taipei.
Sure is. You could tell by the celebration when they scored that very good goal.
Genre looks like playing out the full 90 minutes here. What have you made of his debut?
Yeah, he's been very steady. A couple of nice balls. He's held that position nicely in midfield. Great composure about him.
Breaks for good. To Metcalf. Punch was a weak one, only as far as Grant. Back from whence it came, and the header from Duke flashes across the face of goal. Metcalf passing and moving. It's it back from Economides. Really digging in here, Chinese Taipei. Don't get beaten in the second half would have been the rallying cry at the break after being 3-0 down at half-time here. It is 1-1 since half-time, and they copped that early goal 19 seconds into this second half. Since then, they've kept Australia goalless. Exactly 100 spots between these teams in the FIFA rankings. Australia at 41. Poised to move up a couple of spots next time the FIFA rankings are updated. This winning sequence of theirs, it will be extended to 6 here this evening. A challenge, sliding challenge by Pai, who's been out there since the start. Economides maintaining the width. Right in front of the coach, Graham Arnold. Good, forced into retreat again. There is space on the flanks. Hrustic drops it on a dime for Rukavica, who's dragged the keeper a long way out. So there's an empty net, and Mitch Duke takes full advantage. A second half brace for him. Put it down to Nikita Rukavica and the imagination of Aiden Hrustic with that beautiful ball over the top.
Well, it's a lovely ball and run. It was a really narrow opportunity. Not a lot of space to use. But the ball from Hrustic was as accurate as it could be, right into the danger area. Rukavica still with plenty of work to do, and rounds it up nicely. Putting the ball back towards the penalty spot and onto the tee for Mitch Duke. Helps himself to his second for the night.
Doubles his international goal tally in one half of football, Mitch Duke, and will be eyeing off a hat-trick now. And what we have seen over the past 2 games as Danny Jonro gets an early mark is that Aiden Hrustic is now surely a first-choice player for Australia.
Yeah, so see who else becomes available. But if Graham Arnold plays this system of 2 holding midfielders, I see Rowan Tongic on there as well, and 2 10s as it were, then Hrustic and McGree on the games we've seen so far, both of their footers, big deal. They can play one side of the field each. I think they've both been very impressive. Little sprint there from Graham Arnold. He's still got it.
What a moment for this guy. 24-year-old Ruwan Tongic, born in South Sudan. The eldest of 5 siblings. Here he is trying to get on the end of things. Little hesitation between he and Sainsbury, and a handball spotted against Australia's captain. His family eventually able to move to Australia and Adelaide when he was a young man via Ethiopia. Spent time with Melbourne City, 15 games, 2 games for the Wanderers, 8 for Brisbane. Finally became a mainstay at the Central Coast Mariners, and they got the call from Graham Arnold and the national team, and they thought, hey, he's too old for the Olyroos. He's 4 days too old. he doesn't qualify. They go, no, we're calling him up for the Socceroos. And here he is. Brilliant. The Mariners will miss him in the A-League finals. And a great partner of Kai Rolls this season under Alan Stajic. And here he is, dancing his way around. Trying to ignite another Australian attack. In behind go Chinese Taipei, the substitute, just able to keep it in. Lee Mao. Run back by Duke.
Well, Ruan Tongic has been brought on into a midfield position, which is going to be a new viewing experience for us, but it gets him his cap. It gets him his reward, and it gets his family quite unbelievably proud moment.
Six new Socceroos in the space of 2 games. .606 Socceroos there were before this trip to Kuwait. Now we've added another 6.
And happy for it too. The players have earned it. They're not gimme shirts. Would have gone out more than likely. Maybe just a corner of it. And great opportunities, Speedy, for World Cup qualifiers, official matches which count, but against opposition which is demonstrably weaker, to bring, to extend the group, give people more opportunity, people who've deserved the look.
I've seen players of South Sudanese origin who've broken through in the A-League get called up by South Sudan and play for that country at international level, but Ruan Tongic becomes a Socceroo today in that midfield role, as Andy Harper identified. Much more comfortable in the heart of defence.
Well, the South Sudanese community in Australia is rapidly becoming the greatest producer of professional football talent among all the African communities. It's the South Sudanese en masse that are bursting through the league. And now into the national team.
Left South Sudan as a 4-year-old bound for Ethiopia, and they knew they wanted to get to Australia. They spent 2 years there just waiting for the paperwork and everything to get sorted. And then they were able to move to Adelaide as a family. Economides into the area, almost sneaking it into that top corner, and she had to be on guard. Tries to con the referee that it's not a corner, but it certainly is. Krustic bends it away, and the header from Suta, almost bouncing it in for another international goal. Just the 2 minutes added here. As Krustic delivers again, Suta was climbing over his opponent, had a handful of shirt as well, prompting the whistle. Jamie McLaren and Harry Suta still the joint top scorers for Australia in this qualification phase, with 5 each now, after both getting on the score sheet again this evening. Mitch Duke making a move with a brace. And Is there time for one last exclamation mark here today from the Socceroos? Krustic tried to drop it in behind for Grant that time. Tonic steps up. Metcalf. Krustic, what about that skill? Breathtaking stuff. Is he fouled? No. Referee didn't see anything untoward that time. It goes straight back to Grant. 2 minutes just about up. Grant delivers. Duke in search of that hat-trick. Could only get a nick on it. Is there time to take the corner? No, there is not. And Australia, 6 wins in a row for the first time in 20 years. They are dominating this group, and they are confirmed as negotiating this stage with 2 games in hand. 18 points out of a possible 18 so far. They will be in the next phase of qualifying. But there's still some work to do. Graham Arnold's side, not as many goals as they would have hoped for. He was preaching ruthlessness after the previous match day, the 3-0 win against Kuwait City. Today against Chinese Taipei, a team they beat 7-1 last time. Full time tonight. It is Australia 5, Chinese Taipei 1.
And look at that, 42 shots on goal for the Socceroos and Graham Arnold's men, and getting the job done. 3 points secured. Progress to the next stage secured with a minimum of fuss, Robbie Slater and Mark Bosnich. But how do you feel on reflection about that second half, firstly, for the Socceroos?
Well, I want to give a lot of credit to Chinese Taipei, because, you know what, it's not easy when you're 3-0 down at half-time and you know you've got an onslaught coming in the second half, and the result between the two teams was, what, 7-1 in the first game, to put a performance like they did in the second half. In terms of how I feel about Australia, job done. I don't think they hit any great heights. I don't think they were as fluid and as sharp as they were the other day. But I think you've got to give a little credit to Chinese Taipei, as difficult as that may seem at this moment in time. Like I said, not an easy task at all. I was really fearing for them at half-time, but they did well second half.
Yeah, and 18 seconds into the second half, when they conceded again, Chinese Taipei, and it was 4-0, and you thought the Socceroos were going to do a number on them, but it didn't turn out that way.
It didn't turn out that way, but it could have. For me, it's like Kuwait. The scoreline doesn't reflect the domination, the amount of chances that Australia had. 42 of them. 42 attempts. So, yeah, ends up 5-1. I thought the second half, yeah, Chinese Taipei improved, and it was great to see them get a goal, because you saw what it meant to them. But disjointed a little bit in the second half, but not with any alarm bells. We both played in games like this where you're expected to win by a large number, and it's a little bit difficult, and the pitch wasn't the greatest, but look, it's job done. Still a lot of work to do, of course there is. You know, before the last game, we knew 567
Great ball
days
that was by Barella.
Without a game, and you know it's going to take time, and that's what this hub, little mini tournament, if you call it, is all about, getting the players together.
This was a top finish. So difficult when it's coming across your body like that to use the furthest foot away from you. Really good.
And time it well.
Yeah, time it excellently.
Yeah, if you want to be nitpicky, that was preventable, and we had enough bodies in the box, and he didn't really make a run. He just sort of took a few stepwards.
It's good to see Rukavica come on, the Economides.
Yep. And we've got 3 new Socceroos out of this morning as well. Danny Jonro, Socceroo number 610, 611, Connor Metcalf, and Ruan Tonic as well. Great story.
Really
Congratulations to him. That's the picture for our Chinese Taipei, -29. They certainly had more intensity about them than Kuwait, so I don't know how they've ended up in the situation they have been, but I mean, that doesn't lie right there in front of us. And Australia, through Jordan, got a good win this morning over Nepal, who are Australia's next opponent on Saturday morning at 2 a.m. Kick-off will be here from 1:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, Friday night. So Looking forward to that. And we're off to a quick break, and we're going to get some reaction out of Kuwait City after this, after the Socceroos beat Chinese Taipei pretty comfortably in the end, 5-1, 42 shots. It's an incredible statistic. Back soon. Welcome back. Good win for the Socceroos this morning. Good second half for Mitchell Duke, who got on the score sheet not once but twice. Couldn't quite get his hat-trick. Had a chance late on, one of those 42 shots that the Socceroos had late on, but 5-1 is how it ended. Socceroos up against Chinese Taipei, and Mitchell Duke spoke moments ago after that win.
Well, Mitch Duke, a 5-1 win here in Kuwait City. How did that feel?
Yeah, obviously feels good. Job done for us, and we just move on to the next game. That's what we're all about. I think not too happy about the performance. I think it could have been a bit more polished, but we got the job done.
2 goals for yourself this evening. Always good to score for the green and gold.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the biggest honour for me representing the green and gold. So to get 2 goals is awesome, but still not happy as a striker. I should have had more.
Talk us through your first one, just 20 seconds or so into the second half. How do you remember it?
Yeah, good. Arnie told us to go out and all guns blazing. We've got 5 subs to make, so just run ourselves into the ground. And so we started on the front foot and punished them early, which was good.
And the second one?
Second one was just great work from Nikita, cut back and just open goal. So just had to place it in.
And there was a number of debuts again this evening. Denny Jonro, Connor Metcalf and Ruan Tongyik. A very special evening for those players. Yeah, absolutely. It's something they won't forget, I'm sure. I definitely don't forget mine. And Arnie just shows that he rewards players that are doing well, and especially the young players, to get that reward. So I hope they enjoyed it, and I'm sure 5-1 win you can. And 2 more games here in Kuwait City, so time for the team to progress even further during these next 9 days. Yeah, absolutely. Target is maximum points in that, and we won't accept anything less. Mitch Duke, well done on your performance, and go hit the showers. Cheers, mate.
Anyone after that? Won't need a sauna after running around in, what was it, 38 degrees as well?
38, yes.
He's a player that Graham Arnold would like to use all the way through because of his energy and his
enthusiasm, all action. That's what you get from Mitch Duke. We've seen it with the Wanderers. Since he started at the Mariners, that's his style. And, yeah, it's easy on the eye, Mitch Duke. And he's a player that coaches love but fans love because he really does. Even when it's not going well, he gives you his all.
Everything. Let's hear from Denny Jonro, who made his Socceroos debut this morning.
Dennis Jonro, a debut for Australia this evening. How does that feel?
Yeah, massive honour. I'm really, really happy that I got given the opportunity, and it's a massive honour to represent my country.
A little slice of history for you as well. The first MacArthur Bulls player to debut for the Socceroos while at the club.
Yeah, it's a massive credit as well to the coaching staff at MacArthur and all the players there as well. Without them, I wouldn't be here today. So, massive thank you to everyone at MacArthur. You got through a big portion of that fixture this evening in midfield. How did you find your first international appearance? Yeah, as I said, it's a massive honour, to be captained by Trent Sainsbury. A lot of players that I look up to in this squad, and to play alongside them is a massive honour, and very, very happy. Did you feel comfortable in the game and in possession? Yeah, very comfortable. The coaching staff, gave me a lot of confidence. All the players gave me a lot of confidence, and it felt pretty comfortable out there. And it could be a huge couple of months coming up for you with Olympic selection potentially in the pipeline. So these experiences will no doubt give you the confidence leading into Tokyo. Yeah, for sure. For me, everything's a learning experience at the moment. To come into camp, learn off the older boys. Tonight's another learning experience for me and the team, and really looking forward to what the future holds. And we just saw a nice moment with the team holding a jersey to recognise Brandon O'Neill and his family, who unfortunately suffered a sad loss. It's always good to recognise the people that have been involved with the Socceroos and in the Australian football family. 100%. Family is the most important. I know my parents were supporting me tonight, and I think what we did tonight is special for Brandon. Danny, again, congratulations on the debut, and enjoy the moment. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Merci.
Pumped for him, and Brandon O'Neill, his family, again, commiserations. Miles, father of Brandon, lost his life after a long illness, but good for Brandon and his family. They were around him when that moment happened. But Denny Jonro, great to see. He totally deserves it on his performances this year. Bozza.
He's been exceptional. There's no doubt about that. And obviously, MacArthur will miss him dearly, but it was great to see him play for the Socceroos. Fully deserved. And I thought he was one of the best performers tonight.
Yeah, let's have a look at the goals. If you've missed them, you're just waking up this morning, and the game kicked off at 5 a.m. Eastern. Australia got off to a really good start, and 2 set-piece goals, plus the penalty, if you want to include that in the first half. Robbie set the Socceroos on their way, but it was hard to get rhythm on this pitch. And to be fair, a really energetic opponent, more energetic than Kuwait.
Yeah, definitely, and the pitch definitely played a real part in this game in respect to being fluid, in respect to the ball speed and how they moved the ball. So set pieces were crucial in that first half, and in fact the whole game. And we were threatening. We looked like scoring pretty much. If it was a good delivery from a set piece, we looked like scoring every time. Suta also hit the crossbar in that first half, but second half didn't get the goals they were probably looking for, Bozza, but yeah, it was still a good performance, strong, professional, and they could have got more goals.
This did what they had to do, like I said, and like I said, you have to give credit to Chinese Taipei for that second half, you know, especially after conceding a fourth, like you said, after 15 seconds. Easiest thing in the world for them would have been to throw the towel, and they didn't. They kept going. They got a wonderful goal. It really was. I think this was actually the goal of the night. Really good cutback. And then number 15, Gao Weishe,
didn't celebrate as well.
Yeah, and so they should. But like Robbie said, it was a more functional performance than anything. The other night was excellent, but a lot to do with the fact that this pitch is obviously taking a battering, and it's not very conducive to playing good football.
Now we've got all-nighters coming up left, right and centre this week on Fox Sports with international football. Not only the Nepal game, which we've told you about on Saturday morning, Australian Eastern Time at 2 a.m. Australian Eastern Time, so Friday night, but Thursday night stroke Friday morning will be the Matildas and taking on Denmark. The international break for this one, big build-up for the Matildas ahead of the Tokyo Olympics with games against Denmark and Sweden. So looking forward to that, and also the A-League finals, gents, on the weekend. Starting with Saturday night, Central Coast Stadium. Boz, you're at the A-League finals launch yesterday.
Yes, so are you.
Joint will be rocking.
Oh, absolutely. This has become a wonderful rivalry in MacArthur's first season, and to be fair to Central Coast Mariners, they've taken all the spoils from the whole 3 games. So it's very difficult to beat somebody 4 times in one season, it must be said. And if any team have got the players on a one-off to beat the Mariners, it is MacArthur. And we saw in this game, which was only about 2 weeks ago, for about 20 minutes or so when they took the lead, it was all MacArthur. And you started to get a little bit concerned about the Mariners. But the Mariners, as they do, don't back down, came back so well.
And Sunday afternoon at Redcliffe, Brisbane and Adelaide. Robbie, really hard one to call. Brisbane probably advantage with home field advantage.
Yeah, I put them firm favourites. I don't think Adelaide are in good form at the moment. We saw in their last game. And Adelaide, you had that 1-1 draw, and it wasn't a completely convincing performance. But, you know, they do have quality, of course, with Goodwin, and it depends who they've got fit up front. Halloran as well, who's had a good season. So, but they need to fire. It's going to be a difficult game for them in Brisbane, and looking forward to both games. The Mariners, like you said, and up in Brisbane, both grounds should be jam-packed, and it should be 2 great games.
Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you very much, Robbie.
Go to the gym, Robbie, later on.
Yeah, so that will be definitely on the agenda.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for your company as well. Another good win for the Socceroos, and 2 more to come from the Socceroos in Kuwait. You heard it from Mitch Duke. They want a 100% record at the end of this stage. Looking forward to the tougher games to come, but something building for Graham Arnold. 5-1 over Chinese Taipei. Thanks for your company. We'll catch you soon on the home of Australian football, Fox Sports.